to think about.
And also
I've mainly gone down.
I'm really interested in languages, sort of both ancient and modern, and I find it quite rewarding to have both on the go at the same time. And it's hard work, but yeah, very rewarding.
French and Latin, 2 subjects at school that I enjoyed, so I just applied for it.
The thing that excites me about classics is the chance for a kind of holistic study of a whole society. One key point to stress about the classics course at Oxford is that you can take it without having studied either Latin or Greek to A level.
I'm doing a 4-year course as opposed to a 5-year course, so I'm actually doing Latin and German as opposed to Latin, Greek and German.
I've mainly gone down a literature route, but a literature combined with history route. Whereas if you want to, you can go down a philological route, you can look at sort of the origins of language and take it. So it can get quite scientific if you go down the linguistics route.
Classics is a really special subject because it's very, very multidisciplinary, and there is so much opportunity to kind of adapt the course to suit your own needs.
Literature, I think people can see that as being, so does that just mean close reading of texts then? That might relate more to the experience that they've had of studying literature at school or college. And it's much more using literature as a jumping off point for looking at matters of intellectual history, cultural interest, etc.
They have a lot of language classes at the beginning which aim to get everyone up to a kind of equal level in their language. So that's very much a feature of your first year. So you don't need to worry about applying with thinking that your language skills aren't good enough.
It certainly helps the grammar side of things in the modern language, having done a classical language.
It enables you to be a complete unapologetic geek for language. So in other words, you're somebody who's really interested in how language works, what words do, what happens in translation, different sorts of communication.
It's quite hard work sometimes because you're being set sort of different essay deadlines for 2 different subjects, and you have to learn to juggle them properly.
It's just very much reading the text in the original language and being able to translate that well and comment on all the structures and things that are going on in the text.
As a general rule this year at least, I've had 2 lectures a week, 2 or 3 lectures a week, and then 1 or 2 tutorials. I'm very excited about my year abroad. I have an internship in Berlin that starts in September and will last for 6 months, and that's with an internet startup company.
I am going to be teaching in a primary school in a place called Clermont-Ferrand, so just on the edge of the Alps. The libraries are pretty good. I mean, I haven't experienced many other libraries apart from the ones here, but you can get most books.
There are just extensive facilities. There's a classics faculty library, and then there's a classics lending library.
There's the Modern Languages Faculty Library, which is an undergraduate lending library, and then there's the Taylor Institution Library, which is a whole research library that undergraduate students are equally welcome to use, and is also a really nice space to work.
Each college has got its own library, so you can just walk out of your bedroom and grab a book, which is handy.
The Language Centre offers hundreds of possible languages, and it's got resources specifically for modern languages students.
I actually really enjoy the tutorial system from the start. I had a group of, we were a group of 3 at the beginning, so it wasn't too sort of small, it wasn't one-on-one, which would have been probably a lot more daunting.
You really get sparking with students and exploring their thoughts and their ideas, introducing them to things they've not thought about before, seeing how they respond to that, seeing what their fresh perspectives are, which can often make me think differently about subjects that I think I know well.
You kind of have to work hard to impress a tutor. They're not very easily impressed. You got to do a lot of reading and come up with some interesting ideas to impress them.
Here you're treated as an adult and you come with your essays and you kind of have to take criticism on board and develop from that, which is a very exciting way to learn, but it can seem quite scary at the beginning.
I think when students are applying for modern languages, they can sometimes feel quite anxious that they already need to have a lot of experience of travelling into the countries where that language is spoken, to doing work experience, to have read a lot of literature, and they really don't.
My interview was just very relaxed, and my interviewers put me completely at ease. It was obviously not informal, but it wasn't overly formal, and it was more of just a conversation.
Obviously they're interested in talking about academic things, but not in a kind of a hostile and intimidating way. It's much more just to see what you might be interested in rather than what you know.
We're not looking for people who are going to rehash stuff that they have picked up at school, for example. So it's important to listen to the question and to try to answer that particular question and to think about that question before you answer it, not to just rush into answering the question that you would have liked to have been asked.
We may well ask you to look at a text, beforehand. That could be in English, or it could be in one of the languages, a language that you're going to study. There is likely to be a section that's in the target language, but we'll be very careful in that section as to what we ask you, because we obviously don't want you to end up in difficulties vocabulary-wise. And at that point, we're not looking for fluency. That's what you'll come out at the end of your degree with. We know the sort of level that you're likely to be at with your language ability, so we're looking for the fact that your grammatical bases are secure and that you're willing to have a go, so you don't feel that you have to give the shortest answer possible to avoid making mistakes.
What I'm looking for in applicants is a combination of talent, commitment and imagination.
We'll want to know about how you've developed your interests in the language. So have you been watching any films? Have you been reading any books? And what have you got out of it? That's always the crucial thing is, so what did you think of that?
I was really excited when I found out I was accepted. I just had no clue what to expect.
My tutor rang me up. I was on holiday in Egypt, and I was quite surprised. I didn't know who was on the other end of the phone. He was just like, "Yeah, you got in. Cool. See you next year." It was nice. It was nice to get a phone call. I don't think most people get a letter. I don't know why he phoned me, but it was nice.
In terms of what students go on to do after a modern languages degree, in some respects it's quite difficult to pin it down because they go on to do everything. They come out of their degree particularly as very well-skilled communicators.
It's seen by employers as a very valuable, rigorous degree that really sets people up for anything.
At the moment, I haven't really got many concrete plans as such. Considering staying here or going elsewhere to do a master's, maybe. But that's grade dependent in my final exams.
It's also going to make you just extremely employable. When lists come out of most employable graduates, modern languages is always there in the top 10, sometimes in the top 3. So whilst there may not be any obvious answer if someone's asking you, but what is this degree going to lead you on to do? You can just say with great confidence and proven certainty, it's going to make me really attractive to employers in the future.
If you love languages and you can't bear the thought of ditching a modern or an ancient language, then do both of them together. That's how I came to it basically, and I'm very happy with my decision.